let's go ahead. Let's do this one. Do you guys have a dog? This is a touchy subject for me. So we have a long story about that. We won't dive into too much depth.
We have a dog in spirit.
Okay, that makes it sound like he died.
Yeah, he did.
I think the reason this was even asked was because we did have a dog. We actually had two dogs. So basically a brief synopsis, I'll just talk about this. We had a dog that we originally got because we decided we wanted a dog. And so we got the dog from the breeder. Long story short, the dog had some very bad behavior issues. It had some things that were chemically imbalanced in his brain, technically. And so
He was kind of psycho.
Yeah, he's kind of a psycho dog. So we unfortunately couldn't keep him anymore. It just got too hard in our little apartment that we had, and it just, yeah, like Kenley said, it wasn't working. So he's actually with another younger couple who had more experience with dogs like that and could train him a little bit better than we could. And that broke my heart, having to send him to a different home, even though he was a little bit of a terror for us. And then flash forward to like the next, it was like 4 months after, we had a different breeder actually kind of reach out to us. And basically they had a litter that had all been sold except for one, and he was kind of the runt of the litter. He wasn't bought because his skull was shaped a little bit weird, and his nose specifically had some discoloration, just little things that made it so he wasn't ideal for breeding, which made it so they couldn't find someone to buy him for some reason, which I don't personally understand, but it did make sense.
Because he was a golden doodle, I'll just preface that. I think with golden doodles, there's a certain look and beauty to them, and so a lot of breeders are a little bit more picky.
More particular.
Yeah. And that's such a Utah thing too.
Yeah. And so the breeder reached out to us, and she basically said, we'll give him to you essentially for free. We did not have to pay hardly anything for him. We just had to drive pretty far to pick him up. Basically, it was a very hard decision because we had our experience with Gus, but she was a great trainer herself, so he was already crate trained. He was great with people. He was potty trained. And so I was able to somehow convince Kenley to give it another shot. This all is coming from me. I was the one that I grew up not having dogs, and so I really wanted a dog. And so we went and got him, brought him home, named him Kylo after the Star Wars character because I love Star Wars. And the best way to describe it was just Kylo was my dog. Like, yeah. If there was ever like a pairing of a human and a dog meant to be together on Earth, it was me and Kylo. I know I'm being dramatic, but I spent so long training him. When we got him, he was already crate trained, and he slept through the night perfectly. He even slept in for us most days, and so we loved having him. He was the perfect dog. And I was really spending a lot of time training him with his recall. I wanted to eventually train him to be a hunting dog for hunting waterfowl. I had a great connection with him emotionally. We were planning on just him being part of our family. He was part of our family, and it was the complete opposite of our first experience. But then we moved from our basement apartment in Layton to our second story apartment in Ogden that we just moved out of. And we learned very quickly that this wasn't going to work because he was a standard golden doodle, but he was on the bigger side of even a standard. So he was breaking 50 pounds at like 9 months or something. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but he was big very quickly. Well, I was just going to say, as well trained as he was, he did like to pull on the leash a little bit just because he got excited and liked to run, was high energy. And that was fine for me because I'm tall, I'm big. But Kenley was pregnant at the time.
I was so pregnant, and so I didn't even want to take him out because it was just dangerous.
It was dangerous, and it was hard for her because he liked to run and pull on the leash a little bit. And where Kenley's smaller and she was pregnant, she couldn't take him on walks. And so me with a busy work schedule, I was struggling to find a time to ever take him out on walks with me. Also with us living on the second story, it was hard to take him outside in general. And then on top of that, our apartment that we lived at had a very strict rules with the dogs where they had to be on a leash at all times. They couldn't run around little park that they had there, the field. It was tough for him specifically because he wasn't able to get the exercise that he needed and we couldn't provide it for him. You know, at the basement apartment, we had a fenced yard, so we would let him out and he would just run around and he would do great. And so we made the very difficult decision that we needed to rehome him too. And this wasn't because of anything that he had done wrong. It was because we could not give him enough of what he deserved, and he would have been happier elsewhere. And so we found actually a really good family who they adopted him. Is that the word? They took him, and
Rehome adoption,
yeah, we rehomed him to them. They are a retired couple who spends all their time with their dogs. They had 3 other dogs, all various sizes. They had a huge yard. It's fenced. They even go as far as making their own dog food for their dogs, so it's completely organic or whatever the wording is.
Yeah, very dog people.
Yeah, the big dog lovers. And so we talked with them a long time, made sure that they were a good home for him, and then sent him home with them. He is super happy with them, so he's living his best life. He always has a friend to play with their other dogs, and they give him all the attention he deserves. And so it's just very unfortunate that it worked out that way. I'm still heartbroken about it. You know, we always talk hypothetically about when we'll get a new dog and try again, but it's always hard for me to think about getting a different dog just because I'm so convinced Kylo was my dog. And he still is my dog. I call him my dog, but he doesn't live with us. He lives with them. That's kind of the story. It's a lot longer of a story too if we include all the process of moving him over, but yeah, it's very heartbreaking for me, but we love him still, and we're just happy that he's happy, and it was just the best situation for him and for us, especially in hindsight with our experience with Crew in the NICU. It would have been even harder with Kylo because we didn't even live at our apartment. We lived with my parents. We were gone all day, every day, just at the hospital. So it ended up working out for the better for everybody involved. We never even posted about it, so I'm guessing that's why it was asked, because he's not seen in the vlogs. But it was really hard for me. But yeah, next question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
We're done with that.
Yeah. I'll just address this question real fast that we were asked. And someone just asked why I came home from my mission early. So we won't go into too much depth with this because the story itself has a lot of details and it's very long. But if you're not familiar with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a lot of young men and young women who are 18 years old go out and serve a 2-year mission for the men, an 18-month mission for the woman. My sister's actually on one right now serving in Hawaii.
Shout out to Maddie.
Shout out to Mad Dog.
Sister McMahon.
But for me, I came home early from my mission. I'm pretty open about talking about that actually. Long story short, I struggled with mental health a lot on my mission, with COVID, with California restrictions, with the fires in California, all kind of just added up.
You literally went out at like the worst possible time.
Yeah, it was a really, really bad time to be sent out to California. And not like trying to make excuses necessarily, but it was really hard on my mental health. And so I just decided that I'd be better off if I came home for my mission. That was a decision made by me, my mission president, my stake president at home, my parents, and it was the decision that we all felt was best for me. So we won't get into too much more depth than that, but maybe we'll do another video, just a separate video talking about my experience with that, because it is something I'm open to sharing, and I think it is something that's good to be talked about. So
Yeah.
if you're interested in hearing that full story, just let us know in the comments. We'll make another video about that as well. Let's go ahead and do favorite hobbies.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So, I like to play video games. I'm just kidding.
Clearly from our hobby switch video.
I'm like so good at them. No. But so I don't know. I have like a lot of different little hobbies that I like to do, and like sometimes I'm like super into one, and then I move on to another one, and then I go back to that. But I'm just a very like artistic person, so I love like crocheting and like cross stitching and painting and like all of those things. Like I can get super into those things, but as a mom mom, there's not a whole lot of time for that. So like I said, sometimes I just
Bounce between them.
dabble, if you will. What I would consider as like my hobby is probably musical theater.
Yeah.
But I'm not like I would never really want to go to school for that or like do it on Broadway.
Do a
like,
career in that specifically.
yeah, like another life that would be cool, but that's just not what I really want to do. So it's just something that I like to do like in my community. Like actually right now I'm in The Little Mermaid, which if you've been watching the vlogs you would know that. So it's fun because I like to sing and dance and act, and I'm a drama queen, so.
For my hobbies, I would say the easy answer is sports. Kenley makes fun of me for that all the time. I love kind of just the
Analytics
of it all. Yeah, that's the right word. And I love dissecting plays, watching every game that I possibly can, especially with college football. So, you know, I built that hobby into my podcast. I talk about it all the time with my friends. So that's a big hobby of mine, is just sports in general. And then also, I don't know if I would even consider video games a hobby as much. I enjoy playing video games.
But it's not like something that you do all the time, though.
Yeah, I mean,
more of like,
I'll do it for just like a break from the
Yeah.
world. But even then, one of the video games I play most is college football video games. So it goes back to the sports reasoning. And then also the other video game that I play a lot, Call of Duty. I really just mostly play that to socialize with my friends that live a little bit farther away. So instead of, you know, being able just to drive and meet up somewhere and get dinner or go hang out, go to Topgolf, whatever, we play Call of Duty quite a bit just as our form of socializing and catching up with each other. So those are kind of my hobbies. So the next one was, what are your favorite qualities in each other? I'd say my favorite qualities in Kenley are her sense of humor. She has a very unique sense of humor that fits perfectly with what I find hilarious.
we're just dorks together.
Yeah, we're just the biggest nerds. It's fine. But
Nerds, speak for yourself, buddy.
this is what I'm talking about. She's mean to me and I find it funny. I would also say one of my favorite qualities in Kenley is just how hard of a worker she is. She's always talking about how she can help out her family more. She's always trying to find ways to, you know, make life easier for me and for crew, and she's just super selfless in that way too, just constantly thinking of others and working hard for others and for herself. There's a lot more than that, but I'll keep it just to that because we don't want to take too much time.
Just one thing I love about Dylan, I love the drive that he has. Like, there's a lot of things that, honestly, I'm being serious, there's a lot of things that we wouldn't have been able to experience without him, and like just fun things that we've done that he's like, hey, let's just do this, or like, I just really want to try this, like the vlog. Like, he brought it up to me and I was like, that's a lot of work. I was like, I'm not, like, it took me a while to get comfortable on camera, but like it's been so fun for us. So like, I just love his passion and the way that he thinks. Like, I need that in my life, and he's very easygoing. He's like the chill to my chaos. Like, I'm very much a go crazy person, and I get burned out so fast because I do that to myself all the time. And he's like, hey, like, you're good, you can just chill, and I need that.
This is just a very nice way of saying I'm really good at being lazy and doing nothing.
No, Dylan's good at the balance of things in that way, and I'm not as good at that. And I love watching him be a dad, because he really is the sweetest dad. Like, I know you can tell on videos, like, he genuinely loves Cruz so much, and he's like so sweet. Like, I'm gonna cry. I'm literally gonna cry. He's just like the best dad ever, and so I'm just so grateful.
Alright, the next one we'll do, why do you do the daily vlogs? This is actually another question we receive a lot from people, and really we explained it when we started the vlog, but it's a way for us to not only document our life in a way
It's
that
kind of
we'll
like
be
a
able to watch
journal.
back.
Yeah.
So not only is it like a digital journal for us, so to say, but it's also a very fun thing for us to just have together and to look back on each day. But we are doing the daily vlogs until my birthday, because I said I was going to do it at least for a year. I'm doing it for a year no matter what, even if it's a 2-minute vlog each day. This is what Kenley's talking about. I get something in my head, and I don't
Like,
want to just give up on it.
This is what happened. It was like one day he was like, yeah, yeah, like doing a vlog would be cool. And the next day he's like, we're gonna do it every day, all day, and we're doing it. I'm like, wait, excuse me? Can we talk about this? Like,
Yeah.
he was just like ready to go for it, so.
I just get my mind very set on things and don't ease up until I do it. After that, we're probably gonna switch it to maybe weekly, just so we can get more content in each vlog. I can have more time to edit it. You know, I want to make it more
It's a
almost
lot of
cinematic at times.
It's a lot of work to do daily vlogs for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the editing process takes at the very least an hour long at the shortest videos for me to edit. And so that piled up over every day. It takes a lot of time, and where I have limited time, it makes it so a lot of these are shorter. We're really enjoying these vlogs. I don't want to make it sound like it's taking up too much time. These vlogs are a part of my daily routine now, and I love doing them.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're going to keep continuing with vlogs afterwards, just probably in a way that's a little bit better for us and
you
more entertaining
best
for you
believe
all.
We're gonna have a freaking blast with Disney vlogs.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Kenley's really
I'm
looking
so
forward to that.
excited.
That kind of leads into our next two questions that we'll answer. So first, why are we moving to Florida? I'm not going to dive into too much depth with this one either, just because we've talked about it a lot in our vlogs recently. If you want to hear even more detail about that, make sure you check out our Florida vlog. I'll link that one in the description as well, but we talk a little bit more about the thought process behind it, the timeline of things. So if you're interested in hearing more about that and you haven't, check that one out in the description. Another question, this is one that I'm gonna let Kenley take over a little bit. Favorite Disney ride and favorite Disney snack?
All right, get down, get comfortable, get a snack out, cause I'm just kidding.
Well, let me preface.
I can
preface
talk about this forever.
Kenley grew up in a family that went to Disney every single year, Disneyland in California. We went to Disney World in Florida for our honeymoon, and
My
so
life was changed.
she's been to Disneyland probably 25 times in her life.
Oh yeah, easily
25 times in her life. I was the opposite. My family would go once, maybe. I think I went 3 times before we met to Disney.
Yeah.
And Kenley's kind of
remember-
converted me to be a big Disney fan.
So, ride is hard because there's so many different things. I have to be more specific though, because like, can I do like favorite Disney ride from Disneyland and Disney World?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Disney World, I know what my favorite ride is, and it's the Avatar one.
Okay.
I don't think that anything can compete with that in Disney World because it's just so freaking cool. So you get on it's kind of like you're riding a motorcycle, but you get on these,
Like the dragon
banshees.
things.
If you've seen Avatar, you know what I'm talking about, but it's those animals that looks like dragons that they ride.
Yeah.
So you get on one of those things in the ride, and then it's kind of like a movie in front of you, but it feels like you're actually there. Like if you're familiar with Soarin' in Disneyland, Disney World, Soarin' all over the world.
Okay, so the big camera died. We moved to the phone, and the phone tripod doesn't have a good spot to stand like the camera did, so we moved to the floor. So anyway, go ahead and continue with the Avatar one.
So Avatar. Anyway, so it like feels like the banshee or whatever. I'm
Dragon,
probably
just call it a dragon.
yeah, the dragon thing. I'm probably messing that up, but it feels like it's like real because you can like feel it breathing under you. It's so cool. You won't understand unless you actually have been on it or you go on it. But
Yeah.
that's my favorite there. And then my favorite in Disneyland, I would say Splash Mountain or Space Mountain are my favorite. I also really love the Incredicoaster.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like roller coasters.
Kenley's a big roller coaster person. She loves the adrenaline stuff.
But my favorite treat, always gonna be a churro. Like,
Over beignets?
no, it's a beignet. But beignets they don't have in Disney World though.
For me, I would say my favorite ride, I'll do the same direction Kenley went, do one from Disney World and Disneyland. My favorite Disneyland ride that's not at Disney World is Indiana Jones. It was one of my favorites the few times I went growing up, and so it's kind of nostalgic, and then it's just a fun ride overall. So that's my favorite at Disneyland. So my favorite ride at Disney World is also one that's at Disneyland, and it's the Star Wars one, Rise of the Resistance. I absolutely love that ride because I love Star Wars and it's so fun, it's so cool. just a fun, you know.
That's definitely in my top 3. Sorry.
Yeah, like all the details in it are so good, and I
like,
love it.
The amount of money that they spend on that, you can tell why. Like,
Yeah.
it's insane.
So just Star Wars Land in general,
Yeah,
and Disneyland
it's
and
sick.
Disney World, I love. I'd say at Disneyland, in California Adventure actually specifically, they have these like blue raspberry snow cones that are supposed to be
those are
like
good.
the Himalayan snow cones from Monsters Inc. So good because they have like blue raspberry and lemon that you
The
can mix
soft serve
together.
in there.
Oh yeah. Actually, that's what it is. It's
None other.
like blue raspberry slushy with
The
lemon soft serve.
Oh my gosh, it's
So good.
good.
Better than Dole Whip. I like it better than Dole Whip. From Disney World, I would say one of my favorite foods that we had there was in Animal Kingdom. They had this place with like pulled pork barbecue stuff, and they had this pulled pork mac and cheese with an onion ring on top. That was so good. So that's probably my favorite from Disney World and Animal Kingdom. All right, well then wrapping up with kind of the last question, it's what is our favorite thing to do as a couple and as a family? I'll just say Kenley and I are a little bit different in this because Kenley's very extroverted. She likes going out to do things. I'm the opposite. I'm very introverted. I don't like socializing as much. I don't like going places. I'm a very homebody. Like I just like being at home and hanging out at home. I like doing movie nights with Crew, especially just where he's starting to get to where he can get into a movie and enjoy it. And then also just quick walks around the block together. Those are always super fun and Crew loves it. So those are my favorite things to do as a family. As a couple, I would say my favorite thing to do, actually, this is going to sound so boring and so lame, but my favorite thing to do is get takeout from somewhere, usually Chick-fil-A, and eat Chick-fil-A while we watch Lost specifically. We love Chick-fil-A and we also love Lost. So it's a good combo. But just in general, I like doing date nights where we just binge watch a show or a movie. Have treats, have good food. We did that with Harry Potter around the holidays. We've done it with Marvel. We're going to start doing it now with Star Wars. I'm forcing her to do it with Star Wars. So that's my favorite thing to do as a couple too.
For me, I love when we do like a spontaneous date, whether that's like we do something where we stay at home. Like we've been doing a puzzle lately and that was kind of a spontaneous thing that we did, so that's like super fun. Like just spontaneous things that we're like, we have nothing to do, let's do this. And then like, oh my gosh, we did a really fun date in high school that I'd love to do again with Crew, but we went to the Lantern Festival that they have.
We did that twice. We did it after high school too.
We did it a few times. So that's like a specific date that we've done that I loved and I would love to do again. I think that'd be super fun.
Those are all of our questions. We know we rambled a lot about them. Probably could have given some more shorter answers to some. But we had a lot of fun doing that. We'll probably do another one sometime in the future. If you do have any other questions you want to see us answer sometime, just shoot us a DM or comment on one of our videos. We have a list that I keep of all those questions that we get, so we'll answer them in a Q&A video sometime in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.